right, so let's react to NBA teammates who hated each other. So let's get it.
It's hard to be friends with all your coworkers in any type of job, and it's especially hard in the
That's a
NBA,
fact.
where teammates fight for playing time, number of shots, and millions of dollars. Here are the most famous cases of NBA teammates hating each other. Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen. Charles Barkley gave up a fat chunk of his salary for the Rockets to be able to sign Scottie Pippen in 1999 in an attempt to finally win an elusive NBA title. All he got in return was Pippen calling him fat. The Rockets had great expectations with Pippen, but his chemistry with Barkley on and off the floor was not up to par. Scottie wanted to be the top dog on their team because he won 6 championships, and Sir Charles wasn't too happy about that, so they often clashed. As a result, the Rockets got bounced out of the playoffs in the first round, and Barkley called out Scottie for an underwhelming performance because Scottie took the most shots, but shot just 33% for the whole series. Pippen called Barkley fat and fake tough, among other things, and their relationship was heading towards an ugly divorce as Scottie requested a trade and moved to Portland. David Robinson and Dennis Rodman. After he became a 2-time champion and a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year with the Pistons, Dennis Rodman fell into a depression and tried to commit suicide. Due to his fragile mental health, he and the team believed he needed a change of scenery, so they sent him to San Antonio. There, Rodman started to act out and slowly started to transform into the maniacal party animal that he is famous for now. Tattoos, dyed hair, piercings, drinking, and women became a new norm for the Worm, which didn't sit too well with David Robinson, who had an Army background, a neat haircut, no tats, and was living and behaving like a model athlete. Two stars couldn't be more different, and they never liked each other. Dennis thought that Robinson was too soft, while David couldn't stand Rodman being late for practice and not talking to anybody for months, which was destructive for team chemistry. Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis. There were on-court altercations between teammates, like the one KD and Draymond had. There are media feuds like Shaq and Kobe, or when LeBron James not so cryptically told Kevin Love to start fitting in. And then, there were literal fights between teammates. MJ punched Steve Kerr in the face, Vince Carter body slammed Sam Mitchell to the floor, and Shaq choked out Gordon Giricek to sleep right before a game. In 2017,
For real?
they were teammates in Chicago. Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis got into a fight. Mirotic pushed Portis away twice before Bobby connected a mean right hook. Mirotic fell to the floor and ended up with a facial fracture. After that, their relationship was incorrigible, even though Portis apologized. However, Mirotic wasn't having it and didn't want to speak to Portis anymore, and demanded a team to trade either him or Bobby because he didn't want to be around him. Shaq and Kobe. Shaq and Kobe had one of the most famous
Everybody
teammate
know
beefs
about
in NBA
this.
history, which included fistfights, media slander, and on-court clashes. Their relationship started well when Kobe came into the league in 1996, and Shaq liked the hard-nosed, brash kid from Philly, and he was the first to embrace Bryant after he shot 4 air balls in the 97 playoffs. In the 1998 offseason, as the media pressure was mounting, Shaq was starting to lose his patience with Kobe, who in turn wasn't that impressed with O'Neal anymore. The dynamic duo would go into a yelling match during a pick game, and after they properly trash-talked and cussed each other out, Shaq slapped Kobe across the face, and their teammates had to separate the two hotheads. When Phil Jackson joined the team, Shaq got into the best shape of his life, and things were mostly cool between him and Kobe, while the team thrived and won 3 consecutive titles. After that 3rd title, Shaq was content with his career, and he enjoyed his summer, opting to delay his toe surgery just before the offseason. "I've got hurt on company time, so I'm going to recover on company time," he famously said, and Bryant was furious that he was so unprofessional and that he gained weight. After that, Kobe went on a scoring tear without Shaq, and didn't want to become the number 2 option once O'Neal returned to court, so the two started constantly fighting on the court, in the locker room, and over the media. They nearly had another fistfight during the 2004 season, and their lack of team chemistry resulted in a finals loss to the Detroit Pistons. Subsequently, Phil Jackson was fired, and Shaq got traded to Miami. Because of their beef and some personal things Kobe said about his marriage, Shaq wouldn't even acknowledge Kobe when he played against the Lakers. But while the beef with Shaq was the most prominent feud of Kobe's career, he had plenty of other teammates with whom he didn't see eye to eye. Bryant hated Karl Malone when the mailman joined the Lakers in 2004. After Malone made advances towards Kobe's wife, Vanessa. After Shaq left, Kobe was stuck with a mediocre team, headlined by the legendary Smush Parker, whose basketball career is famous only because of his beef with Kobe. Bryant berated Smush at every chance he could, and they both trash-talked each other in the media long after Parker Parker's 2-year stint with the Lakers was over. And then, of course, is Dwight Howard. Kobe never liked Howard from the start of his career with the Lakers, and neither did Steve Nash, who also clashed with Dwight often. Kobe called Dwight soft when they had an altercation on the court and said he started appreciating Shaq more after his tenure with Howard. Kwame Brown. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan famously drafted Kwame Brown with the first overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft, and then he unretired and became Brown's teammate. The rookie and the icon got on well at first, but when the training camp started, they played one-on-one, and Kwame dared to talk a little trash to MJ. That didn't end well, and Jordan completely flipped the script, transforming from a supportive big brother into a mean old man. That old man also wiped the floor with the rookie, and from that moment on, Jordan started mocking and humiliating Brown in front of his teammates and the media. He was trying to break him down in order for him to grow stronger, but Kwame's confidence was gone, and he never really gained it back. Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen's relationship started fantastically. Ray was a mentor to young Rondo, and the team won the championship in their first year together. The two would stay teammates until 2012, when Ray took his talents to South Beach, after which KG, Pierce, and Rondo all hated him. But for Rondo, the hate started while Ray was still rocking Celtics green, and it was a pure basketball dispute. As Rondo's game evolved and he became an all-star, he was much more ball-dominant, and Ray was reduced to a catch-and-shoot role. He also didn't like Rondo's newfound arrogance, and the two had a rocky relationship until Allen left the team. Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins. By his own admission, Jimmy Butler is not easy to deal with. Just like Kobe or MJ, Butler believes in hard work and giving 110% in practice, and he's disgusted with players who don't share the same beliefs. After he led the young Timberwolves to their first playoff berth in 14 years in 2018, Jimmy Butler grew unhappy with Karl Anthony Towns, and especially Andrew Wiggins. Their professionalism and playing style rubbed Butler the wrong way, and he wasn't quiet about it. Butler called Towns and Wiggins soft, and constantly trash-talked them in practice until his trade request was finally granted. D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young. During the 2016 NBA season, D'Angelo Russell was a brash young rookie and the second pick of the 2015 NBA draft. D'Angelo became good friends with Nick Young on the Lakers, and Russell tried to prank him by recording Young talking about his sexual exploits, including cheating on fiancée Iggy Azalea, not thinking about the consequences, and foolishly believing it would all be one big ha-ha. Russell posted the video online, seriously breaching the locker room code and effectively ending Young's relationship with his fiancée. Of course, that didn't sit too well with Swaggy P or any of his teammates. The NBA is one big brotherhood, and this was a severe breach of trust. D'Angelo was outcast by Young and the rest of the Lakers, who isolated Russell and didn't want to speak to him for a while. Rafer Alston and Jalen Rose. I love Jalen Rose as a man, but he's a terrible teammate. Those were the words of Rafer Alston during an interview in 2021, referring to the one season he spent with Jalen on the Toronto Raptors. Alston, also known as Skip to My Lou, was a talented point guard who played the best ball of his career with the Raptors, while Rose was on the back end of his career, and their career goals were somewhat different. Alston explained that Rose was extremely selfish, and that he only cared about his numbers, and that he wouldn't play hard on defense if Alston didn't pass him the ball enough. Skip got so mad at Rose during one game against Charlotte that he deliberately didn't pass him the ball the entire game. And
really?
Admitted it was due to Jalen's bad habits during the season. The two got into an argument and never liked each other, even though Alston praised Rose's attitude and character off the court. After Alston's interview, Jalen Rose admitted that Skip was absolutely right, and that he was just trying to milk another contract for himself by scoring a bunch of points. Larry Johnson and Alonzo
Really?
Charlotte's luck in the lottery enabled them to pick power forward Larry Johnson with the first overall pick in 1991, and center Alonzo Mourning was the second overall pick in 1992. Johnson got there first. He won Rookie of the Year, opposed to Mourning, and he believed that he was the top dog on the young Hornets team. The Hornets thought so too, because they signed him to an $84 million deal, which rubbed Alonzo the wrong way, because he figured there wouldn't be enough money for him. The two young bulls clashed their horns, and their struggle for domination and the alpha dog label derailed the team. By the end of 1996, both of them were out of Charlotte, and they hated each other's guts ever since. Their beef culminated in the 1998 playoffs between Larry's Knicks and Mourning's Miami Heat. After several playoff clashes and years of bad blood, the two players had a major fight on the court. Even though none of their shots landed, their altercation became legendary after a 5'9" Knicks coach, Jeff Van Gundy, tried to stop the fight and ended up grabbing Mourning's leg and clinging onto it for dear life. James Harden and Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard had left a bad taste.
Oh my God, they throwing bows
to go to
on
Los
the court.
Angeles. And it was the same when he left LA to sign with the Rockets.
I
However, old
cannot.
habits die hard. And in Houston, Dwight was still demanding touches in the post, despite not being an elite post player, and was still goofing around in the locker room while nobody found his antics funny. Houston, we got a problem, James Harden said. The Beard couldn't stand Dwight anymore. And by the end of Howard's stint in Texas, he and Harden were not on speaking terms. A similar thing happened with Harden and Chris Paul, who also weren't speaking in their second year together. And Harden used his influence to trade CP3 out of Houston as well.
Oh wow, all that swinging and ain't make not one punch landed. Did y'all really want to hit each other? Like, what was that? But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this reaction. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on my next reaction video. Bye.